Liam walked through the open market of the orbiting trade station. Strange smells filled the air, some sweet, some like burning metal. Stalls lined both sides of the metal walkway, run by aliens of every shape and color. Some had long arms, others floated, and one even had feathers. Liam didn't need anything, but he liked looking. The market was weird, wild, and fun. He stopped at a small table filled with old trinkets. The seller, a short lizard-like alien with big eyes, smiled at him and pointed to a pile of rings. "Special ring," the alien said in broken English. "Ancient, powerful." Liam laughed. "Sure it is." The ring was silver with strange markings on it. It felt heavy, almost too heavy for its size. It didn't glow or beep or float like most alien tech. It was just a ring. But Liam liked how it looked, and it fit his finger perfectly. The alien only wanted a few credits. So Liam paid and walked off wearing the ring. Later that day, Liam reported to the engineering bay. One of the ships had suffered minor damage during docking. The ship was Eurythian, a race known for tall, graceful features and glowing purple eyes. Liam didn't know much about their customs. He didn't care. He just wanted to fix things and get back to his room. As he worked near the ship's side panel, someone called out, "Careful with that tool. It can overheat." Liam turned and saw her, tall, with long silver hair tied behind her head, and eyes that glowed softly like distant stars. She wore robes with a golden edge, and her voice was calm but strong. Thanks," Liam said, wiping sweat from his face. "You the captain?" "I'm Vena," she said, not answering the question. "This is my ship." Liam nodded and reached out to help her down from the platform as it shook a little under her feet. She hesitated but took his hand. As soon as their hands touched, her eyes widened. She stared at the ring on his finger, her mouth slightly open. She pulled her hand away and stepped back fast. What are you doing?" she asked. Voice tight. Liam blinked. "Just helping." "Are you okay?" Her guards rushed over, tall, armored figures with sharp eyes. They looked at the ring. One of them dropped to one knee. Another lowered their head. "He bears the sacred bond," one whispered. "Wait, what?" Liam asked, looking round. "What sacred bond?" Vena looked pale. "Where did you get that ring?" "A junk stand," Liam said. "I bought it this morning." Her voice turned serious. "You touched me while wearing it?" "Yeah, so?" he asked. She pointed at the ring. "That is the lost sigil of union. It's a symbol for my world, by law. If someone wears it and touches a member of the royal line, it's a claim." "Marriage claim." Liam laughed nervously. "You're joking, right?" Her face didn't change. "I'm not." "Okay," Liam said, pulling at the ring. "I'll just take it off," and it didn't move. He pulled harder. The ring stayed stuck, almost like it had become part of his finger. Is this a prank?" he asked. Vena looked torn between panic and fury. "You have no idea what you've done." The guard stepped in. "By the old law, you must be brought to Yerith. The High Circle must decide." "Decide what?" Liam asked. "If the bond is true, and if the union must be completed," one guard said. Ho, no way. I didn't mean to marry anyone. I just like the shiny ring." Vena didn't answer. She turned, walking toward her ship. "Bring him," she said without looking back. Liam shouted, "Hey, wait, I didn't agree to anything." But the guards were already guiding him forward. They didn't hurt him, but they didn't let him go either. Liam looked down at the ring. It was no longer just a fun thing he bought from a market. Somehow, it had pulled him into something big, something he didn't understand. He glanced at Vena, who stood at the top of the ramp, her face cold and unreadable. "You're not really going to marry me, right?" he called. She didn't answer. The ship doors closed behind him. And Liam realized something strange had begun. The Eurythian ship flew faster than Liam thought possible. He sat in a quiet chamber, surrounded by soft lights and strange humming sounds. He had never been inside a noble ship before. Everything felt too perfect, too quiet, and way too serious. Liam kept staring at the ring on his hand. He had tried again to take it off, even used soap and water. Nothing worked. It was like the ring had become part of him. It didn't hurt. but it gave him chills. A knock on the door made him jump. One of the guards entered. "Lady Vena will speak with you now." Liam sighed and followed. He was taken to a grand room where Vena stood near a large window, watching stars move past. She didn't turn when he entered. "So," Liam said, breaking the silence, "you're really taking me to your home world?" "Yes," she said, without emotion. "You know this is crazy, right?" She turned and faced him. "To you, maybe. But Yareth follows old laws. The sigil you wear was lost for generations. No one expected it to return." "Yeah, well, I found it at a junk market," Liam said. "That doesn't sound very magical." "Because most in the galaxy don't understand our history," she said. "The ring you wear once belonged to the founder of my bloodline. He created the bond law to stop forced unions and settle peace between clans. And now, what? I'm your husband?" he asked, still trying to joke. "Not yet," she replied sharply. "The High Circle will decide once we arrive." Liam rubbed his face. "And if they say yes, then the bond is final. You will become part of my house." "I didn't sign up for this." Vena's voice softened. "I know, but I didn't either." They stood in silence outside the window. Stars stretched like glowing lines. Liam didn't know what scared him more, the idea of marriage, or the fact that a whole alien government might force it on him. Hours passed. Finally, the ship entered orbit around Yareth. Liam stood near the window and stared. The planet below was full of glowing rivers, floating cities, and green clouds. It looked like a painting. He whispered, "This place is beautiful." Vena glanced at him. "It is also full of rules." When they landed, Liam was led out by guards. A crowd had gathered. Reporters, nobles, even children, all staring at the human with the sacred ring. He felt like an animal on display. "Walk with pride," a guard whispered. "You carry something ancient." Liam didn't feel proud. He felt trapped. They entered the high tower where the High Circle met. The room was round, with seats shaped like flower petals. Each noble wore long robes and had glowing symbols above their heads. Vena stepped forward and spoke first. "I bring before the circle the bearer of the lost sigil." The nobles gasped. Murmurs filled the air. One older noble with gold-lined robes spoke. "And you say he touched you while wearing it?" "Yes," she said. "It was not planned." Another noble frowned. "Is the ring real?" A crystal was brought in. The ring glowed the moment it was near. Gasps filled the room again. Liam raised his hand. "Hi, can I speak?" They looked at him with curious eyes. "Look," he said, "I didn't mean to break your rules. I just bought the ring because it looked cool. I don't even know your customs. I never wanted to force anyone into anything." The room was silent. Vena spoke again. "He speaks truth." He was kind. He did not know. The head noble nodded. "Then the law is clear. We must test the bond." Liam frowned. "Test how?" "You will live with her," the noble said. "You will learn our ways. If after 10 cycles the bond holds, then it will be confirmed. If not, it will fade." "Wait," Liam said. "What if we don't want that? Then she will be shamed." Another noble answered coldly, "You carry the sigil. To break the bond is to disgrace her family." Liam looked at Vena. Her face showed no emotion, but her hands were shaking. He sighed. "Fine, we'll do the test." Vena glanced at him with surprise. As they were led out, Liam whispered, "Don't worry. We'll figure this out." Vena didn't reply, but for the first time, she didn't look away. Liam stood inside his new living quarters on Yareth. The room was large, with smooth white walls that changed color with the light. There was no bed, just a soft glowing platform that floated a few inches above the floor. Everything felt strange, too quiet, too perfect. He missed his messy room back on the space station. Vena lived just across the hall. The nobles wanted them to stay close during the bond test. They were supposed to share meals, attend events, and learn about each other's worlds. To Liam, it felt like a weird, awkward school project, except the gray was marriage. On the first day, Vena knocked at his door. She held a small tablet. "This is your schedule," she said flatly. "Lessons in culture, language, and traditions, daily meetings with the Watchers, evening meals with me." "Great," Liam said. Just like summer camp, except with more robes. She gave him a cold look but didn't reply. They started their lessons in the Temple of Learning. The halls were shaped like spirals, and glowing books floated in the air. A teacher named Doran, an older Eurythian with soft eyes, greeted them. Kindly, welcome, Doran said. To understand each other, we must begin with stories. Liam learned about ancient Yareth wars, about how the Sigil Ring ended centuries of conflict by joining to rival houses. He also learned about the bond, law, how it was used rarely, only when fate seemed to speak through symbols. Liam asked, So you believe the ring chose me? Doran smiled. Or perhaps you chose it. Vanna didn't speak much during the lessons. She watched Liam quietly, as if waiting for him to mess up. But Liam surprised her. He asked questions, listened carefully, and didn't make fun of their beliefs. During one of their shared meals, she finally spoke more than a sentence. Why did you help me out of the ship? She asked, picking at some glowing fruit. You looked like you might slip, Liam said. It was just natural. Most wouldn't have touched a noble without asking. On Earth, we just tried to help people who need a hand. Vanna paused. Your people sound different. We are, Liam said. We're not perfect, but we try. Days turned into weeks. The Bond Watchers observed their every move. Some nobles hoped the bond would fail. Others watched with interest. Rumors spread, some called Liam the ring bearer. Others mocked him as a simple human caught in old laws. One evening, Vanna invited Liam to the Garden of Echoes. It was a quiet place where voices bounced softly from tree to tree. We come here to hear our true thoughts, she said. Liam sat beside her on a smooth rock. So, what do your thoughts say? They say this is all too fast, she whispered. Too strange. Yeah, same here, Liam replied. I didn't expect to be part of a royal soap opera. She smiled slightly. It was the first time. He saw her face soften. You're not what I expected, she said. When this started, I was angry. But now, I think I'm just confused. Me too, Liam said. But I figure if we're both confused, we're not alone. They sat in silence, watching the lights dance above the trees. After that night, something changed. They began talking more during meals. They laughed once or twice. Liam showed her old videos from Earth animals doing silly things, music, games. She showed him Eurythian songs that used colors instead of notes. Slowly, the walls between them started to crack. One afternoon, during a lesson in traditional customs, Doran asked them to perform the Bond Walk. It was a ritual dance meant to show balance and respect. Liam groaned. I can't dance. I barely know how to walk without tripping. Then we'll go slow, Vanna said. They stepped together, side by side, moving through the graceful patterns. Liam stumbled once, but Vanna caught his hand. You're getting better, she said. Thanks. He said, smiling. Maybe you'll even miss me when this is over. She didn't reply, but she didn't let go of his hand either. The watchers took notes. The nobles whispered. Liam didn't care. For the first time, he wasn't thinking about the ring or the law. He was just thinking about Vanna. The stars above the Yareth sky blinked calmly that night. But the palace was anything but calm. Liam walked back from the Garden of Echoes with Vanna. They had just shared their longest conversation yet. It had been peaceful. Vanna had even laughed a real laugh, not a polite one. It made something warm stir inside Liam's chest. Things were finally feeling normal. But that quiet was broken. The moment they stepped into the hallway. Alarms flashed red. Guards rushed past them, shouting in Eurythian. Vanna grabbed Liam's arm. Something's wrong, she said quickly. We need to go. What's happening? Liam asked, heart racing. Rebels. One of the guards shouted. They've breached the eastern gates. Rebels? Liam echoed. You have rebels? Vanna nodded. Some want to end all ancient traditions, including the bond law. They ran through side halls while blasts echoed behind them. Parts of the palace trembled. Dust fell from the tall stone ceilings. Two guards stayed close, shielding them from falling debris. As they reached the lock gate, one guard turned back. Keep going, he said. I'll hold them off. No, Vanna shouted, but it was too late. The door slammed shut behind them, Explosions roared on the other side. We're not safe here. The second guard said, we need to leave the palace completely. They followed an old tunnel behind a storage wall. It was dark, cold, and filled with vines. The air smelled of moss and metal. Liam's boots slipped on the damp stones. Do you even know where this leads? Liam asked. To the outer forest, Vena said. We used to play here as children. No one remembers it now. Great, Liam muttered. Hiding in a forest. Just like old Earth fairy tales. After half an hour of walking, they came out into the night air. Tall glowing trees surrounded them. Strange birds chirped in soft patterns. The sky was full of moons. Liam dropped onto a fallen log. We made it. Now what? We stay hidden. Vena said, until we know the palace is safe again. They build a small camp using leaves and glowing stones. Vena gathered fruits that only lit up when ripe. Liam helped stack stones into a small wall around them. They sat together in silence, their backs to the warmth of a light tree. Finally, Liam spoke. This wasn't how I imagined my day going. Vena smiled softly. Me neither. He glanced at her. Why do those rebels hate the old traditions so much? She looked up at the trees. Some believe we are chained by our past. They want to break all laws from the old circle. They think bonds like ours are just traps. Do you think that? I used to, she said. Before I met you? That made Liam's chest feel tighter. Vena turned toward him. You didn't force me. You didn't use the ring for power. You didn't run away. I did try, Liam said, grinning. She laughed again. Yes, but then you stayed. A quiet breeze passed between them. Liam looked down at the ring. Maybe. It chose me for a reason. Vena didn't answer. She just looked at him, her eyes glowing like the twin moons above. That night, they took turns keeping watch. Liam stayed awake during the second half. He watched over Vena as she slept peacefully beside the glowing tree. She looked less like a noble, more like someone real, someone brave, but tired. In the morning, one of the palace flyers hovered above the trees. A light beam scanned them. A voice echoed, Lady Vena, is the human with you? Yes, she shouted. We are safe. Guards dropped down, surrounding them quickly. But this time, they didn't aim weapons at Liam. They bowed to him. Your courage was witnessed, the lead guard said. You protected Our Lady. The watchers saw it all through the hidden crystals. You saw us? Liam asked, shocked. The whole escape, the guard said. Many nobles are changing their minds. About you. As they flew back to the palace, Vena sat close to Liam. She didn't say anything, but her hand brushed his lightly. He didn't move it away. Liam stood inside the grand hall of judgment, surrounded by nobles, guards, and watchers. The walls were covered in glowing patterns, and the ceiling showed moving stars. It was quiet to quiet. Vena stood beside him, her face calm, but her fingers tense. Nobles filled the seats around them, each one waiting to see what would happen. The head noble, Elder Thalos, rose from his seat. The bond has been confirmed by symbol, but not yet by spirit. Now the human must face the right of challenge. Liam raised an eyebrow. Right of what now? The right of challenge, Vena said softly. It's a test. They want to see if you're truly worthy. Worthy of what? Of me, she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes told him. She didn't agree with the test either. Liam sighed. Great. I just wanted to fix ships and drink space coffee. Now I'm in some alien reality show. Elder Thalos continued, you will face 3 trials of mind, of heart, and of courage. If you succeed, the bond will be honored. If you fail, the bond may break, and shame will fall upon House Vena. Liam looked at Vena. You sure you want me to do this? If you don't, she said, they'll never respect you or me. He nodded. Okay then, let's get it over with. The first trial took place in a room filled with lights, sounds, and floating symbols. It was called the Hall of Minds. A watcher explained the rules. Liam had to solve a series of logic puzzles, while strange distractions played around him. Sounds of screaming, crashing, and laughter echoed through the room. Strange smells filled the air. Lights flashed in confusing patterns, yet Liam kept his focus. He used basic problem solving, drew on old engineering training, and trusted his instincts. After 30 minutes, the final puzzle disappeared. The room turned silent. The watcher nodded. Trial of mind passed. The second trial was harder. It took place in the memory chamber, where emotional images from the past were shown to test strength of heart. Liam saw images of his family on Earth, his sister waving goodbye, his mother smiling at his graduation. He missed them deeply. Then he saw Vena, alone, young, standing in front of a cold palace with no one beside her. She looked sad and proud at the same time. The chamber whispered, "Will you walk away from both past and future?" Liam stood still. "No, I won't walk away. I'll remember both." The images faded. Trial of heart passed. The voice said. The third trial happened in the arena. The nobles filled the seats above. A creature called the Zolnari stood in the center, tall, four-armed beast wearing silver armor. It held a staff but didn't look angry. It just looked strong. Elder Thalos spoke again. "You must face it, not to defeat it, but to stand without fear." Liam stepped into the arena. The Zolnari roared and charged. Liam didn't run. He dodged, rolled, and used broken parts of the arena floor to shield himself. The Zolnari knocked him down once, twice, but Liam stood up every time. He didn't try to fight back. He only tried to stay standing. After 10 long minutes, the creature stopped. It looked at Liam, then bowed its head. The nobles gasped. Trial of courage passed, Thalos said. The crowd began to whisper. Some even clapped softly. Vena walked onto the arena floor. Her eyes were wide. "You passed all three," she said. "I didn't do it for them," Liam replied. "I did it for you." She looked at him quietly. Then she whispered, "You were never just a mistake, were you?" Liam smiled. "I'm starting to think that Ring had a plan after all." Elder Thalos stood. "The human has passed the rite. The bond shall now go to final judgment. Lady Vena, do you accept the bond?" The room went silent. All eyes turned to her. She looked at Liam. Her voice was clear and steady. "I accept." Cheers rose from the watchers. Even some nobles stood and bowed their heads. The ring on Liam's hand glowed softly, and a second light appeared on Vena's palm. The bond was sealed. But Liam knew the real story wasn't over. After the trials, the High Council gathered again to discuss the final step. Liam stood quietly beside Vena in the Grand Chamber, feeling a mix of hope and fear. The ancient laws gave the final choice to the Eurythian noble Vena herself. The room was silent when the elder spoke. "Lady Vena, the rite has been completed. The bond is recognized by law and by spirit. Now the choice is yours alone." Vena looked at Liam. Her eyes showed pain and strength at the same time. "Liam," she said softly, "this bond was forced by old law. It did not start with your choice or mine." "I know," Liam said, "but we made it through together." She nodded, looking around the room filled with watching nobles. "To accept this bond is to accept both the law and the future of my house." The nobles waited for her answer, but to reject it, she paused, "would bring shame to my family and to you." Liam took her hand gently. "No matter what you choose, I'll stand with you." Vena took a deep breath. "I have seen how you treat me with respect, kindness, and courage. You did not try to use power or fear. You stayed when others would have left." She looked directly at Liam. "Because of this, I choose to accept the bond. Not because of law, but because I want to." Gasps and whispers filled the chamber. Some nobles looked surprised, others nodded quietly. Elder Thalos smiled. "Then it is done. The bond is honored." The glow from the ring on Liam's finger grew brighter. Another light appeared on Vena's palm, a symbol of their union. After the ceremony, the crowd slowly left, leaving Liam and Vena alone. "So," Liam said with a weak smile, "we're married?" Vena laughed softly. "In their eyes, yes, and in ours?" She took his hand, "in ours. This is just the beginning." They spent the next days learning more about each other's worlds. Liam showed Vena how humans use simple tools to fix things. Vena taught Liam about Eurythian history and music. Sometimes they argued about customs, about choices, about what freedom meant, but each time They listened harder. One day, Vanna took Liam to the Hall of Records. She showed him an ancient painting of her ancestor who first wore the sigil ring. He believed the bond was a way to bring peace, she said. He hoped the law would create new families, new alliances. Liam looked at the painting. Then, maybe this ring isn't just about rules. Maybe it's about hope. Vanna smiled. Maybe. The story of their bond spread across the Earth and soon to other planets. Some were curious, some skeptical, but many saw it as a sign, a way to connect different worlds. Liam and Vanna began working together. They planned new talks between humans and Eurythians. They hosted gatherings to share stories and food. Sometimes Liam missed Earth, the noisy cities, the rain, his family. But he no longer felt alone in the galaxy. He had a place here. With Vanna. One evening, under the twin moons, Vanna looked at Liam and said, "This ring, it brought us together by law, but it is our choice that will keep us united." Liam squeezed her hand. "I'm glad I bought it for fun." They laughed, knowing their story was only just beginning. After the bond was accepted, Liam and Vanna became more than just a curious story. They became symbols of hope across the galaxy. Their unusual marriage, born from an ancient law but strengthened by choice, captured attention far beyond Yerith. Liam and Vanna worked together to build bridges between their worlds. They hosted meetings where humans and Eurythians shared ideas, foods, and music. Slowly, old fears and prejudices began to fade. One day, Liam stood on the stage of the Grand Council Hall, speaking to a crowd of species from many planets. "Our worlds are different," he said, "but kindness, respect, and trust are universal. This ring," he held up the glowing band, "is a symbol not of old rules forced upon us, but of new bonds we choose to make." The crowd applauded. Vanna stood beside him, her eyes shining with pride. Not everyone agreed. Some nobles still whispered, worried about change. Some humans doubted the strength of alien traditions. But Liam and Vanna showed what could happen when two people chose to understand. Even when the law pushed them together first, they traveled to distant planets, sharing their story. Children listened wide-eyed, adults nodded thoughtfully. The ring became famous, a symbol of unity and hope. At home on Yerith, Liam found himself teaching Vanna how to laugh at Earth jokes. Vanna taught Liam how to play Yerith's glowing harp. Their friendship deepened into love, quiet, strong, and true. One evening, under the twin moons, Liam asked Vanna about the ring. "Do you think it chose me?" She smiled softly. "Maybe it did. Or maybe it simply found the right person." Liam looked at the ring and then at her. "I'm glad I found it, even if it was just for fun." They sat together, hands joined, knowing the galaxy was full of unknown adventures, but whatever came next, they would face it side by side. The ring that started as a simple trinket became a powerful symbol, a reminder that sometimes fate begins with a small, unexpected choice, but true strength comes from what people build together.